I'm Neblett with 4 Points Family Chiropractic. I want to welcome you once again to our Living to 100 webinar series. Each month we present a different health wellness topic so we can help you lead a healthier life. I hope you're still there. All of a sudden my video did some funny things here on my computer. Anyway, what I just said was we present a different webinar each month with different topics around health and wellness so that you have the opportunity to be healthier. If you check our website, fourpointschiropractic.com, and look at the Watch a Wellness workshop tab, we have about a library of about 30 different topics that you can watch. If any of those interest you, please take advantage of those. They're available to you at no cost. Today we're going to talk about your immune system. As we move into the cold and flu system, we all need strategies to help our bodies fight off the cold and flu, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So hang in there and we'll get right into that. I did want to tell you where our office is located, 4 Points Family Chiropractic. We're off of 2222 at the entrance to the River Place subdivision in Northwest Austin. Surrounding communities that we serve include Steiner Ranch, River Place, Jester Estates, Canyon Creek, Grandview Estates, but we see patients from all over Austin as well as surrounding communities as far away as Dallas, San Antonio, and Houston. So we serve a lot of people here from a lot of different areas, and we're here to serve you. That being said, let's talk about your immune system. The purpose of the immune system is to fight off invading organisms like bacteria and viruses, or if they do get in, to help our bodies to end the disease as quickly as possible. I didn't explain that very well, but that's basically what they do. To be clear, the immune system is not a system. It's a complex group of systems involving multiple organs, systems of the body, including things like our lymphatic system, our gut, our circulatory system, our skin, our respiratory system. All these are involved in fighting off disease and have immune cells in them. The majority of our immune system is actually involved in resisting or fighting off disease rather than killing the disease once it gets in here. It's very important to keep our immune system strong. We begin to develop an immune system before we're even born, while we're still in the womb. The things that we're exposed to in our environment are actually important parts of what develop our immune system. So studies have shown that children that grew up playing in the dirt, they got exposed to bacteria and viruses, sometimes even getting childhood diseases, they actually develop stronger immune systems as adults than if they're kept in a very hygiene environment and don't have the opportunity to do that. Because what happens when our system is attacked by an outside invader like this, it creates memory cells, and we get this library of previous invaders, so that when we're faced with those same invaders again, our body can immediately begin to release antibodies and other immune cells specifically tailored to fight those invaders. So that's how our immune system works. Now, it's important to understand that we don't typically just get sick. Dr. Ross likes to say that we do sick, meaning the way we take care of our body is either moving us in the direction of health or sickness, and that includes our immune system. That has to do with the decisions we make in our lifestyle. So the decisions we make around what we eat, how we move, the exercise part, how we handle stress in our lives, including how much sleep we get, all those things are involved in our immune system. I'm going to talk about strategies in each one of those. For those of you that are already patients in our practice, you're going to recognize those areas because we talk about those on a regular basis in our practice. That's the curriculum of our practice, if you will, is making healthy decisions in those different areas. Now, every year we all get exposed to viruses and bacteria. It's just the way it is. Some people get sick, some don't. So the point I want to make there, it's not the bacteria that gets us sick. It's the health of our immune system, whether or not it can fend off that bacteria or not. Make sense? So it's very important to keep our immune systems as strong as we can get. A bacteria or a virus invades our body. It elicits what's called an immune response. Now, what does an immune response look like? We may have fever, our temperature rises, we may begin to cough or sneeze, there may be diarrhea or vomiting. Sounds awful, right? But actually those are appropriate responses to an invading organism, because the body's trying to get that organism out of our bodies. So what do we do when we have one of these responses? for the most part, we've been taught to take things to suppress that response, and that can create problems. When it comes to fever, we have a fever. Our body's designed to handle fevers up to 102 to 103 degrees. What do we do when we have a fever? We tend to take something like aspirin, Tylenol, or ibuprofen to suppress that fever. When we do that, the problem that happens is we suppress the immune system. It tends to cause the disease to last longer. We teach our immune system not to respond to that particular invader. We weaken our overall immune system, and we increase the chances that we're going to get sick next time we're faced with that very same invader. When we have a histamine reaction, what's a histamine reaction? That's where our body begins to produce a lot of mucus. Again, not a lot of fun, but the purpose of that mucus is to encapsulate and expel the invader. It's to keep it from getting down into our lower respiratory system, our lungs, and creating bigger problems. What do we do when we have a histamine reaction? We take antihistamines and we shut down that part of the immune system. Another thing that we do to help fight off disease from an outside-in perspective is we tend to take antibiotics. There are cases where antibiotics are appropriate, but in our society, we tend to overprescribe and overuse antibiotics. So what that's done is it's created antibiotic resistance and superbugs, all right? And those create additional problems with different type of diseases that we can't fight off. The most common reason children are prescribed antibiotics are for ear infections. And you know what? 80% of ear infections are not bacterial, so the antibiotic does no good against them except to produce antibiotic-resistant bacteria in our own bodies. One of the other consequences of antibiotic use is it destroys our microbiome in our guts. That's the friendly bacteria that exist in our guts, a very important part of our immune system. You may not realize this, but 70% of our immune system is located inside of our gut, and the microbiome is an important part of that. So when we take antibiotics and we wipe out that gut flora, it's important that we repopulate the gut with healthy bacteria. If we don't, it allows unhealthy bacteria, unhealthy organisms like Candida yeast to get in and take root and begin to overpopulate our gut. We don't want that to happen. So taking prebiotics and probiotics is a very important thing to do following antibiotic use. The other thing you can do is to feed your gut bacteria. The bacteria in our gut love fiber. So if you eat lots of fruits and vegetables, you're actually nourishing the friendly bacteria in your gut. If you don't think you eat a lot of those, you can take a fiber supplement like gastrofiber by Standard Process. I use that on a regular basis. That's another way to feed your gut. Something else that our gut bacteria love, are fermented foods, things like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, those sorts of things. What I like to use, I use a fermented dressing that's made here locally by a company called Cultured Carrot. They have multiple different brands. This one is cauliflower. This one has fermented beets in it. It may not sound good, but it's actually delicious. This has carrots, turmeric, and ginger in a fermented form. And then there's a fourth one here, which has cabbage, turnip, and herbs. All these are fermented dressings. I put them on my salad. I put them on my vegetables. They're delicious. And again, they're made by a local company in Austin. If you're interested in more information about that, talk to me later. I'll be happy to share that with you. But those are ways that we can, again, increase the health of our microbiome. Now, if you're concerned about your gut health, if you're concerned about any other health that you've got going on, if you want to make sure that you or somebody you care about is as healthy as you need to be as we move into the cold and flu season, we have a special offer for you. If you'll contact our office, 512-345-9355 is the phone number. What we're offering is initial exam, consultation, x-rays, and a follow-up appointment to review our findings from those with you for only $67. We charge $315 for that in the office. If you're concerned about something, whether it's about immunity or not, and you'd like to take advantage of that offer, call the office, mention this webinar, and we'll get you set up with an appointment for that discounted rate. Okay, so let's talk about other ways that we can improve the health of our immune function. Our body functions with an ideal internal environment that's slightly on the alkaline side. If you remember the pH scale, 0 to 14. 7's neutral. So 7.365 is the ideal pH for our bodies to operate in. Most of us function in a slightly acidic range. 6 is a pretty common number that we see with patients. That's the ideal environment for bacteria to thrive in. They need an acidic environment. So one of the purposes of alkalizing ourselves is to move into an environment where bacteria can't survive. So the way to find out where you're operating, you can pick up a set of pH strips. We have them here in our office, but you can pick them up at pretty much any drugstore or drugstore department in one of the in a Walmart or a grocery store or something like that. And what you do is first thing in the morning you do a saliva test. That saliva test is going to tell you, based on the instructions on the box, it'll tell you, help you find out where your pH is, and you want to be a little bit above 7 on that. All right, that means that you're in the optimum range. If you're not, then you know you need to take steps to move in that direction. The best way to alkalize your internal environment is to eat more fruits and vegetables, especially dark green leafy vegetables. So foods like spinach, kale, bok choy, those are all excellent alkalinizing foods that you can eat. You can also use alkaline water, alkalizing drops. Lemon water is another way to alkalize your internal environment, but it's important that we do have an alkaline environment. Animal products tend to increase internal acidity as well as free radicals, so we need to limit our animal product intake. So I don't eat any animal products, so that's one way to make sure you're not doing that. Another thing you want to watch out for, especially with your kids and especially as we move into cold and flu season, is sugar intake. Sugar is a horrible reducer of our immune function. 60 to 75 grams of sugar has been proven in studies to decrease immune function by 50% for 2 full hours. So let's talk about this a second. We send our kids off to school. We send them with a nice little juice box to drink. They go to bacteria incubator with all these other little kids that have done the same thing, and they just pass these colds and flus around to one another. So very important this time of the year especially that we're monitoring and regulating sugar intake by our kids, keeping it to a minimum. Not to mention the fact we're still at the tail end of a worldwide pandemic. We want to keep our immune systems as strong as possible. Vitamins and minerals have an impact on immune system function. There are 2 in particular I want to talk about today. One is vitamin D. We naturally make vitamin D in our skin when it's exposed to sunlight. It just takes 15 to 30 minutes a day of sunlight exposure to create the adequate amount of vitamin D levels in our system, which normally isn't a problem here in Texas. But as we move into the winter season, cold and flu season, where the days shorten, a lot of us go to work and it's dark, we come home and it's dark, and we don't get that sunlight exposure. Maybe if you're working from home, you don't get any sunlight exposure because you get up, you go to work, you stay in the house, and don't get outside. If that's the case, it's important to supplement. Vitamin D supplements are pretty inexpensive. We use Cataplex D here in our office. It's an excellent source of vitamin D. You want 800 to 1,000 IUs per day to keep your vitamin D levels up where they need to be. You also want to make sure you're taking vitamin D3. We've already shown you, here's a 30% increase if you keep your vitamin D levels up high. You don't lose 50% by not eating sugar. So here's a couple of easy strategies when it comes to what you ingest. Another supplement that may be important for you to take is zinc. Zinc, the World Health Organization says that at least 1/3 of the planet is vitamin D deficient. Vitamin D deficiency is implicated when it comes to things like autoimmune disease, cancer, and viral infections, which makes it, where?
It said there's a technical issue.
It shows it's still going. Does it say where? See, that's what I was, is it still paused?
Yeah, there is no pause.
How far did I get?
Last thing I heard was about Cataplex.
Cataplex D, so it just stopped?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like before that it was bouncing in and out.
Oops, I just